What's up, party people? Today, I want to show you a really cool resource that you can use to easily create songs. Now, if you're like me, you're not a master at music theory. I never played piano. The guitar I played was all from tablature, and as any guitar player knows, tablature doesn't really teach you music theory. And when I was growing up, my first introduction to the major scale was when my bass player in my band when I was 13 showed me what it was. And from there, it was kind of a big mystery. I didn't know what to do with it, I didn't know how to use it, and I didn't really know what music theory meant at all. So flash forward into me in college, I was making more beats and producing even more and starting to learn more about chord structure and learning more about melody. And from there, I realized that I was not the best at music theory at all. And that's okay. I still write amazing complex songs, and I'm still very happy with music theory that I know. But when I was in London 2 years ago, I was bored on the train and looked up some really cool resources to learn music theory, and I found HookTheory. HookTheory is a website that catalogs and diagnoses a ton of popular songs' chord structures. So when someone tells you that's a 1-3-5 in C major, they basically are cataloging all the songs and what that actually means. So 1-3-5, whether that's a major, minor, or major chord, and then showing you what songs use those types of chords, as well as the key to a lot of those songs and the melodies to those songs. And they also do really cool things where they show you and collect all the songs that are in the same chord structure and have similar melodies. So when I was on that train trip in London, I looked at the app and learned a ton about different chord structures and what they've meant and why chords sound good leading in other chords and why, for the most part, popular music is the way it is today. It's almost like a science behind it. And HookTheory has done a great job at cataloging it. But they have a really neat tool within HookTheory called HookPad. Now what this is, it's an amazing tool that allows you to go into their program, their user interface. It's a web-based user interface, so anyone can use it. And you can go ahead and start creating chords, melodies, and all these other pieces. And you can really make your own complex musical structures, all while using the AI that they've developed. Now, real quick, this is no way a sponsorship or any sort of ad for HookTheory or HookPad. This is just something that I've used in my productions, and I want to actually show you a song real quick that we used this recently on a new Chelsey and the Noise track called Can't Shake This. So here is the original made in HookTheory. And here is the ultimate ending song we created using those first types of chords. Super cool. So today I'm going to show you HookPad and HookTheory. We're going to dive right into the user interface, and we're going to show why it can be a great tool for you guys as struggling music theory artists or just music people in general who are stumped and want to create something new or have a new way type of creation. It's a really cool tool. Also, if you're traveling and you want to make something, you don't have access to Ableton, but you have access to a web page, this will allow you to do that while traveling. So let's check it out. Okay. So right now I'm at hooktheory.com/theory tab. And what this is it's the portion of the site dedicated to diagnosing and cataloging all the different chords used in a bunch of famous pop songs. So for example, right here, they're showing me some featured examples. Hey Jude by the Beatles, I can click play. Awesome. And so we can tell right off the bat, right from here, we have F major, that's the key we're in. And we can see here that we are looking at the melody and the chord structure of those songs. Now, real quick, if you wanted to get here, you could just click on resources and go to the theory tab database or enter the URL right here. And now what's cool about this is we can look at a bunch of songs they've categorized, like here's Shake It Off by Taylor Swift. Awesome. And so they've gone through and they've taken a bunch of popular songs and put them in here. And you can now see from the visual display the chords and the melodies used in all these popular songs. Now, the other thing that's really cool is besides searching all these different songs, like let's say I'm going to look up Fantasy by Mariah Carey here, and now we can look at all the awesome songs used by, or also the awesome chords used in this song, is we can also look up some of the more common trends in chords and melodies. So by clicking on Theory tab Trends here, we can actually use this tool to figure out what chords are most popularly used after other chords, and also kind of what ones sound good. So for example, I'm gonna pick a key here, and I'm gonna pick, let's try G. Let's try G major. And I'm gonna say, all right, I wanna find a chord progression that starts at the root of G. Cool. Now, of all the songs they've categorized, you can see here that 25%, the majority of all the other 25% of their songs that are in G, next go to D, right? And so we're looking at from the actual interval. So the 1 chord now to the D, which I think would be oh, I'm not good at that. Is it the 5, 7? I'm not sure. But we know that most of the songs go from G to D right here. So we can click on D now. And now we see that majority of the songs from G to D go to E minor, right? So now we can click on E minor here, and it's just gonna keep building out this like genome of chords that are used in a lot of popular songs. So next I can go to C here and click on C. And now after C, it's telling me, oh, let's go back to G. So I'm assuming we're gonna start repeating the cycle here. So right now I can go ahead and look at what these songs are that are within this four chord structure here, excuse me. And we've got like Girlfriend by Avril Lavigne, Complicated, and we've got What's My Age Again. So I can click on What's My Age Again here, and now we can play it. Very cool. And now we know, okay, this is an F sharp major, so our original key was G, so obviously it's kind of restructured the individual chords into the correct key here for the song. But I can also say, all right, what does G look like? And sure enough, it is exactly like what we have here. And I can play it just to hear what it sounds like transposed up to. Kind of sounds weird. I don't love that. But this is just a really cool tool to kind of see commonalities and what other songs that sound kind of really good together. The other thing here is if you wanted to, you could look at songs that are like good for mashups and such by using this tool as well, because you can literally see the songs that have the same chord structures. So this is an awesome part of Hook Theory, but I want to show you more about HookPad today. So I'm going to go into HookPad here, and what HookPad is it is a way of building songs using the same structures we've seen in the past with chords down here and melodies right here. So I'm just going to start a new one here. This is a project I've worked on before. And here we go. We can go ahead now and pick pick chords to begin with. So I'll start right here and I'll pick, all right, what chord do I want to start with? Let's start with the 5 chord G. Cool. And now if I hit play, we're now hearing the 5 chord G. And up here we can pick our scale, C major, our BPM as well, how fast we wanted to. So let's actually change this. Let's go back to G like we wanted to. And so now because the fifth interval in that scale is now D, it's going to change this to D right here. And we can hear a different chord now. Cool. And now we can adjust the BPM too. So let's go a little slower. Let's go 115. Right? And so now this is where HookPad really shines. Is let's say the next chord I want to do, I'm not sure. I have no idea. I don't know what the next thing is going to be. I could pick one of these and kind of test things out. I can click on this magic section here. And the magic section says, choose from chords suggested by HookPad's artificial intelligence. Suggestions are based on the chords before and after your cursor or selection. So right now, I only have the 5 chord here, so I'm gonna click on magic and it's gonna say, okay, well, usually what we hear after the 5 is the 1 chord, right? So I'm gonna click that. And then they're like, oh, well, after the 1 chord, we usually have the 4 chord. I'll click on that. And it's like, oh, well, we go back to the 1 usually after that. So let's hear these 4 chords now. Right, it's kind of this dragging on thing a little bit going on. And if I click on here, it's gonna show us, okay, well, we can go back to the D here. So I'll try that. And then here on the next piece, it's actually giving me something new. It's saying, oh, let's try E minor. So instead of G, we'll go to E minor. And now over here, it's saying, all right, well, we can go back to C, which we do here. And then finally, we go back to the 1 here. So kind of a different progression here. So let's hear the beginning and the end of this. Nice, not bad, right? And again, you can kind of tweak things around here. You can go in here and change chords up as you want, but for the most part, Magic works pretty well for getting a basic starting idea out there. Now, the next thing we can do is we can actually change some of these chord progressions. So right now we have everything as just a simple triad. We can go over here, we could say, all right, well, for the first one, let's do a ninth. So I'm gonna click on ninth, and then on here, I'm gonna click on D9 here. And then now we can hear a little bit more motion in this chord. Right, so maybe let's try, instead of the 9, let's try the 7th. Why not? Let's try the 7th. And then let's try this, making this the 9th here. There we go, let's play these. All right, let's add a little bit of variation there. So instead of that one, let's do the 9 on this one as well. So it's gonna kind of switch up a little bit. Ooh, I don't like that. So let's bring this back to the 1 here. And then let's listen to this one more time. All right, so after hearing this one as the 7th, I don't necessarily love it. I'm gonna go back to the triad, so I can just pick the triad type and input it back here, and now it's back to the triad. Cool, and now that's kind of a cool little structure there. Now the next thing we look at is the melody by clicking on top of here. I'm not gonna worry about these other 4 here, because we're gonna make it just nice and succinct and simple, and worry about these first 4 chords here. And now I can go through here and I can click on which notes I want. Now the other thing is they've also have a little bit of AI in here for you too, is you can click on guides. And now what guides is going to show is all the notes that kind of sound good within that chord, right? So now we know that the 2, the 5, and the 7 are going to sound good in that chord, most likely because they're within this chord itself. So now let's go ahead and try. We're going to pick just a couple notes here. Oh, I picked the wrong one actually. We're going to go back, and instead of that one, we're going to pick this one. There we go. And then the second one, we're going to pick that one. Move that to there. I picked the wrong one there. And let's go to here. Let's hear how this sounds. And let's go ahead and go with this guy here and go back down. Let's see how this sounds. That's kind of cool. And then here, we're gonna kind of break the rule here a little bit. Actually we'll look at this one and then try this one, and back to the root. And let's try that. I don't love that. Let's bring that down there. And then we're gonna do a little skip here. Let's switch it up. Let's try that. Bum, bum. And then let's do. That's actually blue. And then yellow there. Let's see how that sounds. So yeah, it's kind of a basic melody. I don't love it yet. Let's try to go there. Maybe let's repeat that one there. I'm gonna put the cursor here. Okay, at the end of the day, this all sounds very piano heavy and very Celtic-y. So you're like, all right, I made this cool kind of like Celtic sound or old piano sound. Where do I go with it from here? Well, you can export it within here just by going to X file, export, MIDI, and now you've got the MIDI which you can do anything you want with. So now what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go to Ableton Live, right here, and I've just dragged this in here, but I'll show you what it looks like if I wanted to do it fresh. I can grab it here, and I can just click and drag it right in Ableton. Boom. And it asks me if I want to import the tempo and time signature. I'm gonna click no, and I can adjust the tempo and time signature here if I want. And so now I've got a grand piano and like a bass on these guys, so we can hear what they sound like with an Ableton. Cool, I can speed it up if I want to there. And from there, you can go ahead and arrange it however you want, add stuff, take stuff away, and kind of go from there. So ultimately, just being able to export it as MIDI however you want is super cool. And it always kind of does this like dotted bass sign, which I've used before in a couple of the tracks, because that's just kind of a cool little beat right off the bat there. But yeah, that's HookPad in a nutshell and how to integrate it into Ableton. So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you found something useful. If you did, please like this video. Please subscribe if you like my vibe. And thank you so much for watching this video. Yeah, I hope you guys learned something. And I'll leave you with this amazing, amazing sound.